Art block. We've all experienced the struggle of picking up your pencil and nothing coming out of the other end. There was a time last year where most of the year I was in art block and I could barely draw outside of work. It happens to new artists and it happens to experienced professionals. Now I'm in a place where I feel super motivated to draw. So let's talk about it and what's helped me throughout my many art blocks. So what exactly is art block? It's a creative rut. Maybe you finally have time to draw but just can't think of anything to create. You don't feel motivated, maybe you hate your art right now. You have trouble finishing sketches or you're tired, physically and mentally, when you think about drawing. There's a lot of causes to this stagnation, like burnout, perfectionism, lack of inspiration, social media overload. So think about what's behind your art block. For me, I see most of my art blocks coming from burnout. I draw all day for work. I'm always creating content for social media, and when I have free time, I don't really want to find the time to draw for myself in between all of it. But lately, since my work contract recently ended and, I found myself in charge of my own schedule and I'm able to prioritize things that I find important. So after a little bit of dilly-dallying, I finally picked up my pencil and started to draw again. And that's actually what you're watching me draw right now. It's one of my 10 paintings I made in like a 5-day period because I was so excited to draw again for myself after such a long time. So tip number 1, you need to take a break if you're burnt out. No amount of forcing yourself to draw will help you get back to it. Change your environment, shake up your routine. You'd be surprised how a change of scenery can really reset your mind. So go on a walk, like on a different route than usual, rearrange your cluttered workspace. Honestly, take time not to think about art at all. Live your life, hang with friends, and ride your bike. And when art pops back into your mind as a possibility, gently go back to drawing without expectations and see if it sticks. Start small. Set tiny, achievable goals to get back into the groove. Maybe just 10 minutes of drawing a day to get back into the habit and just move that pencil around. Maybe a doodle a day. But all in all, the key to overcoming burnout is rest. So do that. Or maybe the need for perfectionism is behind your art block. You feel inadequate and have self-doubt about your art. Maybe you hate your art right now and everything you draw sucks. Here you have to let go of having to be the best. So tip number 3, it's okay to make shitty art. I do it sometimes and it's part of growing. It's part of the process. It's hard not to compare yourself to other artists, but everyone is truly on their own journey and you have to give yourself that grace to let go of self-judgment. If your issue is self-doubt or perfectionism, I suggest creating simple art that you don't expect to post online, just something for yourself. Draw without purpose, without expectations. An exercise is to block in different shapes on a page, like different silhouettes, and then going in and trying to find faces, animals, or characters in those funky shapes. Scribble with some colorful pencils, just like super random train of thought scribbling, and then do something similar and find some interesting silhouettes over those cool shapes. You're just trying something new, something fresh without any pressure to perform well. Now, lack of inspiration is the tough one to get out of, but the good news is there's so much you can do to get out of that headspace. I find getting out of your usual drawings is key here. Maybe you're not inspired because you're bored of drawing that same thing all the time. I know after drawing a hot girl in a sitting pose 100 times, I really got this lack of inspiration. I've drawn every pose of a girl. What's next? To get out of that rut, I pushed myself to draw new things. I practiced drawing environments, I painted movie stills, I tried to learn to paint portraits, which is to say I focused on studies. So tip number 5 is studies. By studying existing photos, it took the choice out of the decision. I didn't have to create something random from my brain. I just had to draw what's right in front of me. The creative part is really trying to figure out my take on the colors, on my shapes, and on my stylization. Once I did enough studies, I was able to think creatively again, and that's how I painted this piece right here. After painting with gouache, I was so inspired to tackle lighting and rendering differently, digitally. This is one of my first paintings with this rendering and lighting technique that isn't from a study. By exploring something new, I was able to come back to my regular art and push myself in exciting ways that I've never tried before. Another great tip is to try a new medium. This is super essential to getting inspired again. Sometimes it's that break from monotony that can rewire your brain. I picked up life drawing again this past year, and once a week I've been drawing with Conte on newsprint, which is such a change from the digital tools I use every day. This break with new materials has really helped me in viewing art differently. It gets me excited to try and master a new medium. So this past month, I've actually even picked up gouache again and made studies of still life. These new mediums have gotten me thinking about line, light, and color differently from when I was only working digitally, and have really changed my perspective on my art. A new medium can even mean something that's like not visual art, but still creative. Maybe you try like creative writing or knitting, pottery, or building a house in Sims, which is my personal favorite. Sometimes social media can really put a damper on how you view your art. You see the best of the best all the time. It's hard not to judge your own path. I've been there. Mindlessly scrolling is an easy path to fall down to that really drains your creative energy. Honestly, I have a timer set on my Instagram and TikTok, so I only get 15 minutes at a time. So when it locks me out after that 15 minutes, I stop and I think, do I really need to keep doom scrolling or should I do something else? So I highly recommend getting an app like that. But sometimes social media is actually really helpful for art block. I'm constantly inspired by art that I see on my Instagram feed. It also gives room for collaboration. Working with other artists can bring fresh perspectives and ideas. Collaborate on a project or participate in art challenges with others, like a drawing prompt challenge, or those monthly drawing challenges like Mermaid or Plain Air Pro. Getting involved with community like the Instagram art world or a Discord is a really great way to motivate yourself and others to stay on track with your art goals. At the end of the day, it's all about reconnecting with your passion, finding what makes you fall in love with art in the first place. My last tip is to follow the artist's way. It's a very popular self-help book to regain your creative identity. I'll give you my favorite bits and encourage you to try some of these activities yourself. First, write in your journal every day. Let your thoughts wander and write anything down that comes to mind, like stream of consciousness. This will help you sort out and organize what you have in your mind. Every week, book yourself 2 hours on a date with your inner artist. Feed your creativity. Go to a museum, a flea market, go walk by the ocean, visit the aquarium. Fill up your creative well. Creativity requires both inspiration and rest. Create regularly to stay engaged and reduce the fear of starting. The more you create, the less intimidating the process becomes. Focus on the process, not the product. Don't forget to enjoy the creative process itself rather than obsessing over the final outcome. A fulfilling process leads to better work, stronger work, and people can tell when you really enjoy the artwork that you're making or if you were dreading it the entire time. And remember, showing up is success. The most important thing is to keep creating. Success lies in the act of showing up and doing the work, regardless of the outcome. And that's on Atomic Habits. Just by picking up that pencil as a habit is going to lead your brain into thinking, okay, well, what if this time I actually draw something good, right? So take all these thoughts and intentionally apply some to your life to spark that inspiration and get to drawing again. Remember that art block is temporary. And if your passion is art, it'll find its way back to you. It's a journey, a process, so take your time, don't rush it, and allow yourself rest and grace. That's really how I got back into really enjoying art. I self-reflected and I thought to myself, I'm actually really not enjoying art lately. I don't enjoy my art. I don't feel like drawing anymore. What can I do? So I really took a break from art. I enjoyed life a little bit more. And then I played around with different mediums, different types of art that I wouldn't have tried before. I even joined a new art community that I've never really tried. I went plein air painting with a group from Instagram, and I've never really done that before. And I met a bunch of new artists, and it was really cool to dip into a new community that I haven't interacted with before. After doing all these things, I felt my spark again. I was excited to draw and paint, and I feel like I've been approaching drawing differently than I was before, drawing new subject matter, and really trying something new. So I hope my story is a little motivational for you, and I hope these tips have helped. If I missed some tips, please comment them, because I want to know how you get out of art block. And if you like this video, why not like this video? A like in your heart equals to a like on the screen for me. Very cool. Okay. And I hope you liked the process of me painting as well. Okay, I'll see you next time. Bye.